you had mentioned the death by 1,000 paper cuts, but was there and go into as much or little detail as you feel appropriate, but was there a low moment where it was like, okay, we have to do something, or was it just the gradual um, progression that got to a point that one of you brought the opportunity forward?
No, I mean, there wasn't any. No, not really. It was just we were probably at the bottom of one of those valleys, and
Hmm.
I remember her just like, "I can't do this. This is," I'm like, "I don't even know what we're talking about. What
Yeah.
can we not do?" Like, and she's like, "We got to counseling or something." I'm like,
Hmm.
"Do it, fine, I'll go." But you got to be willing to change too. Kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
at each other for no real good reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. And yeah, she ended up talking to her pastor about it. She's the one that initiated it, and I think she's like, "Is there any good Christian counselors that would be good for, marriage
Hmm.
counseling?" He's like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "How about my wife and I take you guys through this program called CTO?" I had never heard of it. And she told me about it. He told me about it. And I'm like, "Sounds great. Let's do it." And it's hard, man. You got to like
Yeah.
face your stuff.
Yeah.
You got to face it publicly, not even just with your wife, but then in
Really.
front of two other people. And
Wow.
like you learn how to ask for forgiveness, you learn how to confess. Yeah, it was really good.
So what's that feel like as someone who, has walked the path of faith your whole life to sort of be confronted with like you need to figure out or you need to learn how to forgive. Like do you feel any internal pushback on that? Like, "Oh, come on, I've done this my whole life," or were you at a point where you're so open and willing that you just step forward into it?
No, I think there's a natural resistance as a
Yeah.
human being to
Yeah, yeah.
not just be like, "Oh, you know what? Let me
Let's do
confess
it.
this
Yes.
and let me just forgive you."
Yep.
No, I mean, there was a lot of resistance there for sure.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it starts in like layers, right? You don't just go straight to like, what's your greatest sin and what's the
Yes.
biggest thing you need to ask for forgiveness for? You start off with, is there not your spouse? Is there somebody else that you've got beef with that there's unforgiveness there? And you kind of unpack that. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's somebody else. Is there people that you've wronged that you need to seek forgiveness from? And then you kind of address it specifically, like with your spouse. And it's like, I need to confess whatever this thing is to you, and specifically ask for forgiveness. And you do it in a way where there's your the pastor and or whoever's taking you through the program is there, which in some ways helps because it's like she's probably not going to hit me.
Yeah, right? Social accountability.
Right. And no, it was just really, really good. And then you hear things that as the other person says, "Hey, I've basically, done this or sinned against you in this way, and I ask for your forgiveness." And it's like, I don't know, it's really freeing to go through that. It's not fun. It's not natural. It's not easy. It's like we've recommended a lot of other couples go through the same program, and we're like, it is the worst, best thing you can do.
Yep, yep. And is there how long did the program last? Is it dependent on the couple or is there a
It is. I mean, it can be pretty fast. We weren't in like there was no infidelity. There was no like major single hurdle, right? It was just kind of like I said, a little bunch of little bitty things that we had a hard time getting over on our own. But maybe there is some infidelity there, or maybe there, whatever the crisis is, depending on the level of crisis, it might take longer. Plus work schedule. I travel a fair amount for work, so we went into it thinking it was kind of like a 6 to 9 month situation. I think we like stretched it into like a year and a half.
Mm, okay.
Just you're kind of supposed to meet weekly, and sometimes it would be a month because I just
Yeah.
wasn't in town or whatever.
And is it always you two together with someone who is guiding you or is it one-on-one? What's that all look like?
So basically, the formal time is four of you. Like if it's a couple, there's another couple.
Okay.
my wife is actually taking a college girl, or not, she's out of college now, but a young single through this program,
Oh,
and
wow.
so they're just meeting one on one. There's no crisis involved in her. It's a really good way to learn a little bit more about yourself, your faith, whatever. Uh, it it's somewhat self-paced. You go through, there's some books, you basically get some homework, there's some memorization, there's some stuff you have to do on your own. You make some lists like, hey, these are the people I need to seek forgiveness from. These are some people I need to forgive, whether they ask for it or not. You gotta forgive them. It's freeing. For forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person; it's for you.
It is.
So,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so learning through that, and then there's basically some homework. You come back kind of corporately in the group setting, and then you go through the homework and how'd that, some of it's counseling feeling where it's like, how'd that make you feel, or what did you think about that, or um, the the core though is it's you're unpacking significant areas of scripture that are applicable to what's going on, and yeah, it's a really good program. It's kind of like Celebrate Recovery in some ways, but just a little more one on one, a little bit more intentional because CR is kind of more group based. But um, yeah, it was huge for us.
Do you going back to that comment you made, forgiveness is for you. Do you have any specific examples of that? That's a huge point and was a major breakthrough for me as well.
Yeah, I would say there was people that I was probably harboring some unforgiveness towards, that just for little things,
Mhm.
nothing huge. Some of it's your parents, like, oh, I never really forgave you for doing that. And at some point, it's not like on a daily basis, you're like, I don't forgive that person for that. It was more just like, hey, is there stuff that's like that has continually irked you about somebody that you have a hard time handling or whatever? And I'm like, oh, is that what that is? Is that why I don't get along with that guy or whatever? And I realized, oh, that one thing or that one time that guy said or did that thing behind my back or whatever, and I found out about it and I never addressed it, and I've harbored it. And yeah, I think everybody's got some version of that, or something like that that they held on to in an unhealthy way.
Did you
Yeah.
ever find a commonality with reasons that you withheld forgiveness? And to give an example, I found when I was doing the step work that a lot of my resentments, my inability to extend forgiveness, in a very weird way, I was leveraging or convincing myself that I used it as motivation.
Mm. Yeah, I think I probably had a level of that too. But uh, no, I've beyond that side of things, I think some of it I just never really stopped long enough to realize that it bothered me that much. I had some stuff with my dad that I had never kind of wrestled with on my own. I just kind of, I dealt with it, and uh, that I needed to forgive him for, and whether he asked for it or not, and let it go. And that was freeing.